Second time around. Second time around. I know you've come a long way, baby, but you don't need that heart of stone, no. To prove that you can do it, baby. You can make it on your own. But you can't keep running away from love, 'cause the first one let you down, no, no, no. And though others try to satisfy you, baby, with me true love can still be found. Love can still be found second time around. I'm gonna keep in mind the second time, baby. The second time around, I'll know what to do. Just as long as I'm with you, second time around. Oh, 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 say it again. I am not going to say it again. This is Silver 5150 saying that was my best Shalimar. Dang that Howard Hewitt and his high tenor voice. Anyway, got through the song, 1 minute and 40 seconds. Thank you guys for listening, and on to our show. Hi guys, I'm Silver 5150 here on the Silver 5150 channel, going to return to our conversation about hidden hyperinflation from this morning. All right, and here we've got some fractional bars and stuff because we had our Valcambi 1 gram silver bar representing hidden hyperinflation, and at some point we want this to revalue to, I don't know, $175 or 1 day's worth of living expenses. All right, for the sake of time, I'm going to stick to script today. Normally I'll get off script quite a bit and kind of ramble on, but we're going to try to get this done because we are starting late. But we're going to get it in because we need to talk about this. All right, so you guys are familiar with the Valcambi 100 times 1 combi bar, and it allows you to have a bunch of these in a breast pocket size unit, and you can do a lot of purchasing and stuff. If you break this thing apart, you guys in the earlier videos, if you've seen my leather bag, my leather satchel full of these 1/100th gram silver bars, you know that I am ready to go into any pub, tavern, or place to get information and do all that kind of gray market stuff. I am ready. I am prepped for the gray market. All right. So this morning we pointed out all the shenanigans that the global governments are up to, using the debt clock as a reference to track inflation and possibly hyperinflation hidden deep in the system. No doubt that the debt clock is the singular best source to go to when it comes to looking at current macro trends. But you need look no further than the regular goods and services that we use every day to get these macro trends. Reading these movements used to be easier when assets were stabilized in price by a more stable dollar back then, when the dollar was stable back then. Nowadays, things are really distorted by the governments and central banks that refuse to be honest about just how much money is being printed and where it's being spent. Okay? So, we who keep watch no longer wonder what these money wells are. We simply look at the stock market that's not allowed to correct and commodities that are now allowed to reach fair value. The price points are all over the place, so it's really hard to gauge the pace of real-world, on-the-ground inflation. Inflation. And I'm talking about for everybody, all right? However, if you know where to look, it's fairly easy to get accurate readings. In no other segment of the economy have I found a more stable inflation-tracking good or service than fast food. All right? We're not going to look at oil or any of the other indexes or stocks or anything like that. We're going to look at fast food. All right? We're going to take a look at what we were going to take a look at what was known the Big Mac Index, but I decided, you know what, that wasn't going to quite cover it because I was thinking, we need a fast food, quote unquote, that's being consumed by the corporate types, not us, regular types, but the corporate types, the government administrators and the corporate animals out there. The arts and croissant crowd, they generally stay away from lowbrow fast foods, especially given that they're all tied into the endless currency available to them by central banks across the world. They don't need to save money, all right? I mean, I think they're more happy to comfort themselves with a $7 latte. And so for that, we're going to have Starbucks fit the bill. All right, so here I managed to find a chart that actually is a combination of the two, where you have from 1990 Okay. To 2020, you have the 20-year McDonald's and Starbucks index. Okay. So on these two indexes right here, and this is not a fake chart. I found this chart. This is on Seeking Alpha, where Greg Manarino and them hang out. So these guys, they're on the level. This is how much now. Now look, mind you, this is probably 2019 as we were coming into all of this new money printing. Look at how much Main Street, which is McDonald's, represented by us, or it represents us, versus the political class and the upper class. Look how much their consumption of their lattes increased over our Big Macs. I mean, it seems kind of juvenile on its face, but it is a real indicator of how the money actually gets distributed once it's printed and once it's supposed to be sent out into the areas that it's supposed to help. All right. So as you can see, let me back up a little bit. Yeah. So as you can see, those who are involved handling all this new money printing, they're going to Starbucks way more than we're going to McDonald's. All right. But not just them. Okay. So since they're tied into the money, it's going to be their cohorts and their family members also. All right. And this points to another dynamic I've noticed in the economy. Main Street, which is us, versus Political Avenue, which is the political class. And, of course, the people tied into them, the contractors and, all the people that benefit from government largesse, at the corporate level. All right? So guess where the areas of the globe, guess what areas of the globe have the greatest amount of inflation, okay, consumption, and price increases? Capital cities. That's right. All across the globe, capital cities, or the cities that are in charge of, say, a nation, a state, or a town, right? These towns are the most inflated in terms of home prices, in terms of prices of goods and services, and inflated in money velocity, because once the money comes in from tax revenue, because that's where tax revenue goes, by the way, it always goes into these larger cities. So wherever there's tax revenue coming in, you can rest assured that those responsible for its distribution have sticky fingers, and that only a fraction of the monies make it out to the more local jurisdictions. But now it's actually way worse than that. Now you've got tax revenues. Let's go ahead and move this chart here. You got tax revenues, along with the unlimited money printing they've started doing, which means you're going to get a lot more of this. Let's go back to the chart. A lot more of this, okay? With the Starbucks types, while everyone else gets more of this, which is pretty tepid compared to the Starbucks movement, or the Starbucks arts and croissant crowd that's actually handling the money. All right? Okay. So, as stimulus packages grow in discussion by the officials, okay, they're going to get weaker in impact. The talk of the stimulus packages. They're going to get weaker in impact, all right, and in the actual delivery. I think they have problems with delivery of the stimulus like they've had before. They're going to make excuses why it's not getting out. Maybe it's not going to be available, but they'll call it something else. Or maybe they'll just go for broke and fire all the cannons. I think it's going to be the former, where they're not going to be able to produce the stimulus because they know they've already created hyperinflation and they have nowhere else to hide it. This is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that they have nowhere else to hide this inflation. The market can't handle any more of it. Talk about the stock market, all right? And the banks, they're overloaded and they can't handle it, and it's going to have to start flooding out. Now, see, I'm getting off script because I'm getting all fired up. All right, let's take a look. I need to calm down for a minute. Let's take a look at this APMEX 1 gram note here. So APMEX makes this 1 gram note, which is pretty cool. And this is probably the most expensive gram of silver you can own. Now, I bought this gram of silver right here for, now why are you crooked? You know I have OCD, don't do that. I bought this 1 gram of silver here for 68 cents when I bought the Valcambi Combi Bar for $68. Okay, and there's 100 in there, 68 cents a piece. I bought this 1 gram note from APMEX for nothing. It was a gift for being a platinum member. But if you go on APMEX and try to buy one, they're $14. So $14 a gram. I think that works out to like $3,800 an ounce. Who knows? I'm just making up numbers. Anyway, so now we're going to get back on the script here. So anyway, because, I think that they are running out of options to hide their hyperinflation, and they're trying to make sure we can't see any of the accurate numbers by distorting the markets and distorting the dollar and, creating all this confusion, the debt clock becomes more important. And the debt clock is such an important tool because like this chart right here, okay, that tracks who's accessing all the money as it starts to come in. And we see that in our own towns and countries and states, it tells us virtually the same thing that the debt clock tells us and this chart tells us, all right, that hyperinflation is already here, all right? Hyperinflation is already here, and the powers that be will desperately hide it anywhere, I mean anywhere, to keep it away from its rightful place, right? and that is being destroyed, and that is for hyperinflation to be destroyed by gold and silver, okay, and replaced by gold and silver and copper to a degree. All right. And maybe to, a little bit of platinum. You can throw some platinum in there too. Who knows just how bad the hidden hyperinflation is? All we know is that as we continue to watch their hiding places like a hawk, we're going to continue to do that. And we're going to do that around the clock, wherever we go, and we're going to stack accordingly. All right? We see this stuff in the debt clock. We pointed out this morning, increase in M2 money supply. Big jumps in commodities, oil, gold, silver. All right? Without any explanation. Either they're hiding hyperinflation in the system, holding back the data, and then finally releasing it, because they got no choice, and then the debt clock picks it up, which explains these huge jumps. Or maybe hyperinflation is actually moving faster than we're seeing, and they're coming up late with the information. Silver could be at $5,000 right now in the debt clock. Who knows? Everything's distorted. Now, guys, I'm not going to lie. I am trying to dig the biggest piece of pie I can from the precious metals market, and that a working man can. Anyway, I'm a regular working man. I'm a regular working person just like most of you. All right? And I know you guys are doing the same. I know a lot of you guys are doing the same. So a $2 gram today, which, if you try to buy this right now, it's at $2 for the gram, could easily provide you in a hyperinflationary scenario with a day's worth of living expenses. Think about that. This one little gram right here, in a hyperinflationary scenario where silver is $5,000, and this gram right here is $175. And let me explain that, by the way, because people say, well, if it's $5,000, the dollar's no good, so why are you going to get $175? You can only buy an egg. Well, that's not what you can do with it. It's going to be a implied value of $175, and you're going to see how desperately those that have some good or service that you want are willing to give you for it, because they want some kind of hard currency that they can use to transact to buy something they need. See, that's how it's going to work. You're going to have currency that they need that's durable and fungible and divisible and, has a unit of measure and all that stuff. They're going to want money, for their goods and services so they can retransact with that money and buy something that they need. That's who's going to want it or give you what you want for it. That's going to be an implied value, and that's how it's going to be valued. Not by some arbitrary numbers we give off the debt clock or off of hyperinflation. No, it's going to be, by that time they know what the heck it is, they know what it can do, and they're going to want it, and you'll get something for it. Period. That's all there is to it. Okay? Now, let me get back on script here. So, there is an old axiom out there. The axiom is that even a dandelion can crack a sidewalk from underneath and grow above the sidewalk. And think about that. And it's happened in New York City. I used to grow up, and I used to go to the city sometimes, or even in my town. You would see where there's a crack in the sidewalk, not a very big one, but that dandelion would get up through there, man, and pop out. And sure enough, there it was, all right? But the way it did it is it grew slowly and methodically. It picked its way through the concrete's weakest points, right? That's how that dandelion did that. It was always under pressure. It was always without sunlight until it got up over the top. But guess what? We are the dandelions, slowly picking our way through the weakness and the cracks of this bogus banking system and this hyperinflation scenario that's developing. All right, so guess who's the sidewalk? If we're the dandelion, who's the sidewalk? That's right, the powers that be. And they do not want us popping up and spreading, dandelion sunshine above their big slab of concrete. All right? They don't like us. That's why they're making things hard for us. That's why they're trying to smoke us out by keeping prices low. But what they realize is that they're trapped. By keeping prices low, we stack harder. By making prices higher, we start to reach true valuation, which is what we want in the first place. So we really can't lose at this point. I had a subscriber ask me, and says, hey, I'm thinking about buying gold. What do you think is a good price point? I says, well, the thing is, because of the availability, if you buy something you really like and something that's semi-collectible, what costs you $1,900 today is going to probably be about $2,200 in August retail price, and then $2,700 in December retail price, simply because of its lack of availability. And the same thing goes for silver. All right? Silver Game of Thrones would disagree. He thinks I'm way off the mark when I say that, because he's calling for $100 silver, which is easily a 5 times valuation, and it's not out of reach. It's not out of reason. It's not out of the realm of possibility, because you see what's happening on the debt clock. I know it doesn't give us what we need directly in the spot market, but the spot market is owned and rigged. The COMEX is owned and rigged, and it's going to be giving its marching orders and posting bogus numbers or selling bogus contracts to keep that number in check. It's all it is a number. This is the real deal. $14.99 or $13.99 for that. APMEX is no fool. Somebody will pay that because somebody believes in silver that much. I don't believe in silver that much, but I do believe in it this much, which is the same gram. It's just not as fancy. All right. So we know we are the dandelion, and the financial system is the concrete sidewalk. We have cracked it, and we're starting to come up through the surface. So guys, please continue stacking. All right? No matter what. No matter what you see, no matter what you hear, things are falling apart underneath. The financial system is on fire. It is burning, white hot flames. The priests that are inside the financial temple, their hair is on fire and their robes are on fire, but they're trying to stand there in their doorway like everything's fine and there's nothing to see here. And trust me, they are in hell right now trying to figure out where to hide more of this hyperinflation and how to keep us from buying every damn ounce, gram, and tenth off the shelf. Gold and silver, possibly platinum and copper. All right? So yes, buy, within reason, as much as you can handle any excess fiat you have at this point. This is crunch time. Get on it. Get on it. Do what you can. If you can only do an ounce of copper a week, do it. Do it. $2, $3. All right? But if you can do an ounce of gold every month, then absolutely do that. And while you're at it, you want to see ounces of gold, man. Watch Florida Stacker. He's got some really good stuff and some really good stuff coming in. And of course, Teenage Stacker. He's got some really good Canadian gold and stuff too. Just to inspire yourself, whet your appetite, and see some good stuff out there. I always try to bring you guys the eye candy. Ooh, look at that fractional maple bars. How about that? Fractional Valcambi, Swiss Silva. Break it down, becomes 1 gram. All right, so that's just some more food for thought, guys. That's all I have for today. Just a little food for thought for you, all right? But as always, like, share, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on these theories that I have about us being the dandelion and the financial system being the cracked pavement, being the cracked sidewalk. You know, about the indexes we talked about, you know, with the Starbucks arts and croissants crowd versus us on Main Street. We're the Mickey D's, the McDonald's people, and they're the Starbucks crowd, funneling all the money into themselves, and whatever's left over dribbles down towards us. We don't really get much. Talk of stimulus packages, and it'll be talk forever. Just let me know what you think about all these things, okay? But keep in mind that your capital cities, they're hogging all the dough as it comes in, and you're getting what's left. So keep that in mind when you vote. All right? So, all right, guys. For real, though. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Give me your thoughts on these theories. Now, I'm sure the market will tell us a lot more about tomorrow about what we need to know about what's coming. All right, so join me for the morning update in the AM. All right, I'm Silver5150 telling you that your stack is not whack and that just 5 ounces to your name keeps you 99% ahead of the game. So Silver Game of Thrones says, bye-bye.